If you were to take over the world, would you blow up the White House Independence Day style or sneak in through the back door?
What?
Welcome to the Real Screen Team. I'm Andrew Thomas. I'm here with my partner in crime, Christopher Johnson.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're doing another Expert in Novice.
Spooky edition.
Halloween edition. And you guys might not know anything about me, but I'm a big horror fan, and I introduced Chris to the faculty here. And I want to tell you about my experience going into horror movies, what introduced me to the faculty first, before I get to Chris up. It was when I was like in maybe 12, 13 years old. I was visiting my dad, went to the guest room, was flipping through channels, and I saw one of the scary scenes in the movie, which I'll go into later. And it got me hooked, and then years later I started watching the movie and from the beginning and got used to the premise of it.
And it's kind of become a bit of a tradition for you, right?
Yes. I mainly watch it every 1st of October. There. That along with another assimilation movie, The World's End, but we'll get to that one in a later review in time. I'm going to go. And since Chris, since you haven't gotten into this horror, why haven't you gotten into any horror?
Well, for the longest time I had this feeling of, why would you pay money to be scared? Mm-hmm. That's why for the longest time I never really got into horror films. But as time has gone along and learning about particular actors and things like that, playing certain video games with horror elements, I've started to dabble a bit more into horror films. I mean, one of my favorite games is Friday the 13th, the game. So, yeah. That was pretty much the moment where I was like, okay, maybe I should start looking into horror films.
Yes. Should I go into the plot?
Yes.
Or the making of it, at least. The Faculty is a 1998 sci-fi horror film written by screenwriter Kevin Williamson and directed by Robert Rodriguez. It starred Josh Hartnett, Elijah Wood, Jordana Brewster, Robert Patrick, Selma Hayek, a pre-Daily Show Jon Stewart, and of all people, Usher.
Usher.
And Famke Jensen, before she became Jean Grey. So, I should go into the plot.
Yeah.
Well, the school of Harrington High has been invaded by alien parasites that have taken over the faculty, starting with the infamous Coach Willis, played by Robert Patrick. And it's up to 6 teens, basically the Breakfast Club, to stop them. And they are Casey, played by Elijah Wood.
The nerd.
The goth, Stokely, played by Clea Duvall.
The basket case.
The jock, played by Sean Halsey. I can't say his last. Halsey. I'll go with that. And then Delilah, played by Jordana Brewster.
The princess.
Then the new girl, Mary Beth, played by Laura Harris. And then the drug dealer, Zeke, played by Josh Hartnett.
The criminal.
Yeah. And it's up to these unlikely team to go save the day on there. And there's also a couple plot twists and foreshadowings in this movie there. So which you'll get, and also not to other horror films, such as Invasion of the Body Snatchers and The Thing of all things. there. And so, tell me what you think of the movie.
Um, it was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Cast was actually really good. I wasn't really completely sure of what to expect, but overall it was actually a pretty decent film.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to see a lot of these actors either in the midst of the height of their fame or right before things really popped off for them.
Yes.
I feel like this is kind of an interesting little footnote to see where everyone was at the time.
Yep. Elijah Wood didn't start Lord of the Rings at the time. Josh Hartnett was doing 2 horror films. He was doing The Faculty and Halloween H2O. Another film that we'll also get into, later review, sometime in the future. So he was doing that back to back. There, Georgiana Brewster was her first film before she did the Fast and the Furious movies.
Dang.
Yep. Of course, it's Jon Stewart before he became Jon Stewart.
Yes. Before he was roasting Arby's and hitting John Cena with a chair to stop him from winning his 16th world championship.
Yeah. So, and Famke Janssen wasn't known as Jean Grey back in the day, so it was one of those things. The only real 2 well-known people were Robert Patrick and Selma Hayek.
What?
Well, in movie-wise.
Well, what about Elijah Wood, though?
Yeah,
he
did The Good Son, yeah.
And North.
Yeah. Well, a movie that's still infamous to this day.
Good Lord, Roger Ebert hated that film.
Yeah. Yep. So then, let's say that in this movie, people don't get replaced. They actually have alien parasites into them, in the most painful way possible. And the end goal is basically for people to be much happier. You be a much better person, even though it's the most painful way to get to become a much better person, literally.
The way I see it, if anyone has seen Rick and Morty, it's kind of like the idea of what Unity wanted to do to the planet that they were on. That they were essentially taking over the whole planet to essentially make people better individuals, but they're still being controlled.
Yeah,
it's weird. You kind of get it, but you also kind of don't.
Yeah, it's basically every evil villain's plan for utopia. Granted, their idea of utopia is just them ruling in general, in their own image.
And then there's Thanos.
Yeah. And then, well, the plot does start with our infamous Coach Willis being the first one to be infected by the parasite. And then he attacks the principal, who's not a good person, by the way. At least at the beginning of the movie. And then as the movie progresses,
more and more people
turn and it's up to the only 6 who caught on to it to save the day. But at the same time, like every other horror movie, there's the dwindling party where each of the members of the Breakfast Club goes down one by one.
Either by being taken over or getting beat down to the possibility that they're not getting back up.
Yeah. Yep. So so you think something's gonna happen, but it ends up not going to be that way, and a lot of other stuff going on, and there might be spoilers in this movie. So,
I mean, are you sure you want to go into those?
Well, at least when some of them turn, at least, mainly like the first member of our breakfast clubs turns really fast during the things drug tests.
But that one was surprising. So
yeah.
Nah, don't do that one.
Are you sure? Because I thought that we could probably, because I have some idea, I have some guesses, because there's also deleted scenes that haven't been shown in the movie that I really want to see someday.
Okay.
Yeah. Then, like first, or Delilah is the first one to be turned. We don't know still how she got turned. There's some implication of how she became the first member to be turned, by the way. And there's also a deleted scene, which is still shown in some of the trailers, which I hope will show, about, which is hopefully another way. And the faculty. The faculty doesn't do much in the second half.
Well, at that point, when you have a whole freaking football team under your control, do you really need older individuals to go and try to attack the people that still haven't been infected? You have a whole football team.
Yep. And Usher, he doesn't do much. He's just there to be another token character to get turned, sadly.
Well, hey, this was fairly early in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this was You Make Me Wanna era Usher.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where he was really popping off music-wise.
Yeah. And then there's a couple staff members who do some stuff. Like Jon Stewart, he does a big thing in the movie, which surprised me.
And with you speaking on the faculty itself, once they're turned, it's a very unique way in how they show who they are after they turn. The male individuals, they do a complete 180 as far as their personality. I mean, Coach, he's a very intense individual. He becomes much more pleasant. Jon Stewart's character, the science teacher, he's usually a pretty nice, laid-back individual. He becomes much more stern and unsettling. And then, when it comes to the female staff, why do they become so unusually and noticeably sexier?
Probably because of the alien that's controlling the...
I mean, I kind of get the idea that some things would be noticeable as far as their actions, but did anyone really process before they got taken over that, why are the teachers, the nurse, and the principal look very unusually sexy? They don't usually look like this on the regular.
They only reference that with the English teacher, played by Pumpkin Jensen, when she turns.
Yeah, because at first she looks like she's about to go to a sock hop and then go get an egg cream, and now she looking like a bombshell.
Yeah. Even the students reference that there. And she even has a person that she becomes more personality-wise, especially with one of the main characters there.
Yeah, that's definitely something we need to go into.
Yeah. And then what saves the day but drugs, of all things. This is not thing that you should show because we're not advocating for drugs. This is only for the movie purposes that drugs are allowed to save the.
Remember, Dare. Do not let that lion down. The community has... The whole... Generations have already let him down. We cannot let him down any further than we already have.
Yeah. And
just say no.
And in order for the students to figure out who's alien and who's not, they have to go take the drug test made from the drug dealer himself, Zeke. Josh Hartnett. And what do you think of his character?
It's interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, got to give him all the credit in the world of, being so gung-ho into fighting some of these individuals.
Yeah.
It is very interesting on... Everyone knows that he's selling drugs. How has he not been expelled? Everyone knows. How has he not been kicked out of the school?
It was the staff. The staff wasn't really good people anyway. And they just held him back for a senior year. But the character I felt more connected to was Casey, played by Elijah Wood.
Definitely. Elijah Wood was already showing that he had the acting chops.
Yeah. He had more to do in this movie. The movie basically focuses on him more than the other students, than the other Breakfast Club members.
Well, it would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the one that I think had the most... He was a veteran actor already at this point. And, dear God, what... I know he's the nerd. I know the popular individuals would pick on him.
Yeah.
But did they really have to do some of the things that they did to him?
Like the flagpole?
You're going to constantly ram a man groin first into a flagpole. Why? Why? I mean, come on.
Yeah. That he's so left out that he just eats outside, away from the cafeteria. There. And he has a crush on the princess, Delilah, who isn't really a great person.
Oh, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
I mean, as things went along, she actually did kind of mellow out a bit. But dear God, she was a number of horrible words that I can't even say right now.
Yeah. Of course, we did kind of feel sorry for the jock, Stan.
Yeah, dude doesn't want to be a jock.
Yeah.
He actually likes academics.
Yeah.
But just because of the fact that he's actually pretty good at football, he has to leave his academics to the side.
Yeah.
And it's actually a very interesting thing where he didn't do so well on a test. Mm-hmm. But because he's so good at football, they gave him a pass. And that really stuck to him. Yeah. I found that very interesting.
And then there's Stokely, the goth who secretly has a crush on him. There. Even though she starts out really tough.
She actually was one of my favorites, along with Casey.
Yeah.
It's usually a lot of the teenagers that you see in these, they tend to be kind of cardboard cutout-ish. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was a lot more unique.
Yeah.
The fact that she was kind of the goth that just looked at everybody like, ugh. But, hey, she opens up.
Yeah. And then we go to our final one, the new girl, Mary Beth. who has really no real ties except probably trying to connect with Stokely and Zeke. Of the only two.
Yeah, because they're more outsiderish than even Casey.
Yeah.
I mean, Casey, by proxy of just being picked on,
Yeah.
he is treated like an outsider.
Yeah.
While Stokely and Zeke, they choose to be outsiders.
Yeah. And then should we talk about the plot twist? Or should I?
Hey,
Well,
by all means.
well, the plot twist is that the person who's been using the faculty as puppets and everyone else is Mary Beth Hutchinson from Atlanta, aka Atlantis. There. And she's one of the more sexier villains or sexier horror villain.
Though it's a bit weird. How old was everybody when they were doing this?
Mainly 20s.
Yeah, it's a Riverdale situation. People in their 20s up to 30 playing high school individuals.
Yeah. It was really... And we kind of understand a little bit why. She's explained to Casey, who she was trying to convince to be on her side before she turned them, which, let's be honest, wasn't a great plan. She should have just got him and then did Zeke instead. Zeke would have done a little better with the understanding part.
Yeah, that and on top of she does the classic villain trope that ends up causing their plan to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Your monologue.
Yeah. Well, long enough, she didn't really have any connection with Casey. If it was Stokely or Zeke, she probably would have won.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And Stokely was the sci-fi expert there. She knew everything about horror. So they were basically she was basically the information thing, although they don't really, they do foreshadow it in the first act, but they do more once the climax hits. Go into a lot of stuff happening with other horror movies like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and The Thing going on. And
especially for The Thing, the whole idea on testing who is still themselves and who has been taken over.
Yeah.
But instead of, let's get your blood and, set it on fire, you're going to have to take those drugs.
Yeah.
Which, once again, say no. Do not let the lion down.
Unless there's an alien invasion.
No, even still, say no.
Yeah.
Don't let this man down.
Yeah. So, should we send out our scores for the movie?
Well,
Since
sure.
we got through everything, including the plot. I guess I should go first, or you should go first.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I actually give it a 7 out of 10. It actually was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what to expect out of this. Mm-hmm. But I'm actually glad I did check this film out.
Were you scared on some of the scenes, or were you just... or
maybe a little startled, but I wasn't scared.
Yeah. Since you never really saw any horror movies, that's what I was asking.
Well, I've seen a few, but not too many.
Yeah. I give it an 8 out of 10 for me. Basically because I like the plot. And I like the simulation plot, basically. And I would have gotten a little bit higher if Robert Patrick had more to do in the second act. Because Jon Stewart has more to do in the second act. Famke Janssen has more to do in the second act. Lilith, Baby Newirth, does more in the second act. But Robert Patrick, he's just there, the second act.
Well, I mean...
Well, he does turn one of them into an alien. and then that's it.
And I mean, he is leading the football team.
Yeah. But I did like his performance. I just wish he had more to do, like a conversation with Casey would have been nice.
Or I would have liked to have seen more of Usher.
There are some deleted scenes with Usher in there, which I don't know if we'll ever get, but I petitioned for a Blu-ray release, Scream Factory. There.
Hey, go ahead and do it. Do not let what people say on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb make you think that this film isn't worth something.
Yeah.
You know, I have to admit I had my reservations about the film before I saw it, just based off of some of the scores I saw. But in the end, it actually is a movie worth seeing.
Would you recommend this film, Chris?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. You know, it's a nice little film that I think anybody could get a good deal of enjoyment from.
Even if it's a horror movie. And by the way, it's R-rated, so so it's 17 and older should watch this movie. And if you're a big horror fan.
Yeah, because there are definitely some things you do not want younger individuals to see. I mean, dismemberments, naked girl, the fact that there's some unusual sexual tension between one of the high school students and the female teacher. Seriously. I know he's 18, he got held back, but still, it's not right.
Well, this ends our show for today. We're going to be doing our first popcorn music review on what's the movie?
Bohemian Rhapsody. Ayo.
And please watch us on Pack 14 and on YouTube, The Real Screen Team, and look us up on Facebook, also called The Real Screen Team, and then subscribe so we can get more out of these TVs.
Please,
these two TVs.
I want my control center. Please.
We need this because it's a tough time that we're having. We really need your help. So let's go and let's fade to black.